Hi,
How do you say your name?
it's Sai.
Sai.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm Sharon.
Sharon, thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Thank you for asking me, Sai. I appreciate it.
So I've gone through your profile and I thought to introduce you to my audience and tell what and tell the work that you do to my audience.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
So can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes, hello. I am Sharon Krasny, and I am a new author, a debut author with Iceman Awakens. It's my first novel that came out. And in my real job, I'm an English teacher.
Okay, so you're a full-time writer.
hmm
Okay, so when you start, are you from US or
I am from Virginia, about 40 miles from DC, Washington, DC. So, yes, I am in the United States at this time.
awesome? So when did you start writing and what made you to come into this field?
I've always liked writing, I've enjoyed reading, but I have to say that my English teachers are the ones who really encouraged me to keep writing and not give up on my dream. That's part of why I'm an English teacher today, is to encourage people to just really believe in their voice and invest in it. It's very powerful. So I've always enjoyed writing, just never really had the courage to do it. So I do encourage people to stay with their dreams and stay with their hopes for that.
Okay, so what is the first thing that came into your mind when you wanted to write something?
How does this feel? I think writing is all about trying to communicate a moment, an experience, and trying to add to it the layers of emotion and the layers of um, the different dynamics that go on within an experience. So I think starting with how does it feel is where I began. And I also had questions like, well, if I were this person, what would I be thinking? Um, it, it's a lot of exploring what it means to be a person when you write.
So how many books you published?
So far, just one, and I'm working on my second one, which is a sequel to the first one. Iceman Awakens is about the murdered mummy that they found up in the Italian Alps about 30 years ago. His name is Uzi, and in my book, I call him Gaspare. And I try to tell his story as to how he got to that mountain to be murdered in the first place. And so I got him through his rite of passage, and now I'm writing book two to get him a little bit closer to that mountain murder that we all know that he experienced.
So it's a fictional story.
Historical fiction, yeah, about 5,000 years ago.
Okay, so how much time you spent to collect the information?
Oh boy. For the first book, it took about 5 years. I constantly have to keep going back in. If I take a break, I have to go back in, do some more reading, um, learning about how the spread of languages happened, learning about the um, flowers and the animals of regions that I have never been to, the tools that they had, the spread of the technology. It's a lot of heavy reading when you actually want to write, because those two go together. The more you're informed, the better you actually write.
So what is the response that you're getting?
Actually, very well. My my audience is very broad, and they tend to advise not to do that. But this is a story that could go for someone who is 12 years old or someone who is 65, 70 years old. It's a story about being human. about what it means to be human. And people are people. They've been people since, I don't know, 5,000 years, 10,000 years. People are people. And so the story is very relatable and surprising, which is a good thing. Most of the comments that I get is, I didn't realize how much we were like each other. And I have to say that that was one of my goals. Um, I think that in society right now, the way that people tend to look down on another people group as ignorant or below them or beneath them because they don't understand them. That's what I was trying to shed light on with this story, because we look at this murdered man from 5,000 years ago and we think, oh, he was a caveman. No, they were actually very advanced people, and he had dreams, he had ambitions just like everybody else. And to bring that human dignity back into focus is what I aim to do with this story, and it seems to be working.
So how many characters are there in your book?
Well, there's the main character, Gaspare. It's told from his point of view, first person. His mother, father, two brothers, a girl that he likes, and his wolf, Chelana. And those are the main, those are pretty much the main characters in this first story. Oh, he does have a best friend, Taryn, but those are really the main ones in the story. So about seven or eight people, and it's their life in a village. Like I said, about 5,000 years ago. So we have the farmers with the sheep and the cattle and the chickens, and we have weaving on looms, and we have pottery making and different things like that. Just life, what it meant to be alive in a village.
So what is that point that makes people to connect with this?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat?
Is there any particular point that makes people to connect with the story?
Well, it's a coming of age. And so, in order for Gaspare to take his place, his role in his ancient tribe, he has to go through a rite of passage. And so, anybody faces dealing with courage and your fears, and will I be good enough? Those are some of the major questions that go through Gaspare's mind through the whole thing. Am I going to be able to be a man that I need to be for my village? And that whole big question of who am I is very, very relatable. I think everybody does run into those questions more than one time in their life, especially when they are coming of age at 13, 14 years old. So, like I said, it's very relatable in that sense that the fears of disappointment, the fears of um, um, not having the answers, the challenges of just overcoming who we are as individuals to find out how much more we can be. Those are all part of the themes that are going through Iceman Awakens.
People who read your book compare people who are in this generation with the people who are in before 5,000 years.
I think so, yeah. I think so because, like I said, I tried to make them real. Um, they have loves of their life. They have a brotherhood that bonds. They have moments of weakness. They have sibling rivalry, jealousy, anger comes through. The need for a mentor, somebody who's wiser than us, kind of like a Yoda type of a figure, through the grandfather. The relationship between the mother and the son is very important because their their civilization was a matriarch, a little bit more than a patriarch, which is actually quite interesting because we always think of Europeans as patriarchal, but it was matriarchal back in the beginning. Um, well, 5,000 was not the beginning, but back in his time period, it was more matriarchal than it was patriarchal. So that relationship is very important in the story as well.
So what do you think that people feel after reading it?
People keep telling me to hurry up with book two. so, I've done some book groups over Zoom, some book chats. I've been in a couple different states that way. It was a lot of fun. And a lot of them just really want to know, is he going to be okay? How much was fact? How much was fiction? I mean, it is historical fiction, so some of it is my imagination in telling a story, but it's based on a theory. And I think that's what storytellers do. They have a theory of how something goes, and they base it in as much fact as they can, and then they tell the story. And people are captured by the story of Gaspare and him trying to own up to his place, his calling in his family and in his tribe. But yeah, the very first thing I always get whenever I meet with people is, "Are you done with book two?" So I am working on that one right now.
So for the first time you wrote the book and you published it, how what is your feeling?
Um, I still remember when I finished the draft of the entire book, and it was a very suspended feeling. I texted my son and I said, I did it. I think I did it. And I mean, it's never done with the first draft. You have to go back and keep adding layers and fixing and all that kind of stuff like that. But to actually get from the beginning to the end was a very special feeling. I really can't put my fingers on it. It wasn't like skyrockets going off or anything like that. It was more like this sense of achievement, like, wow, I just did that. And it's very satisfying to realize that you can do it. You can actually get yourself from point A to point B and problem solve it and make it interesting and um, tell a story. I think that's a very amazing moment, even though like um, it doesn't feel like bombs are going off or anything like that. It just feels very quiet, very very quiet achievement. That's all I can say.
So how many words you have used?
Um, I think 67,000. It's about it's about 206 pages long, and I don't know how many are in book 2 yet. Book 2 is on chapter 15, so I'm about halfway through with book 2. Book 1 was about 30 chapters, and book 2 is about 30 as well. And I think there's going to be 3 books total to this series because I'm trying not to just summarize. I'm trying to tell a story and bring people along on a journey that Gaspari is going on.
So how many books are going to come after two?
Probably one more after that, and then I'm going to be done with him. I'll get him murdered up on that mountain and move on to a different topic. Um, Gaspare, Iceman Awakens, Utsi was not really the book I wanted to read. I'm sorry, write. Read it, yeah, that's fine, but write it. Um, it's really hard to not feel like an imposter when I'm a female writing about a male who lived 5,000 years ago. I mean, that is as far away from me as possible. I really wanted to write more about female things, female topics. But as I was writing the story of Gaspare, something that was very exciting and very surprising was about 2/3 of the way through, I realized that I'm in there. He is me. Even though he is 5,000 years old, even though he's a male, um, what it means to be human is pretty universal, pretty timeless, and it really doesn't matter who you are. And that was very cool because I tried very hard not to put myself in the story and to just tell the story, and I couldn't. I was in there right along with Gaspare and his need for courage, his need for bravery. So that was a cool experience. So probably one more book after book 2. So book 3 would be the end.
Awesome. So there'll be people who will be watching the video and listening to this from anywhere on this planet. Do you have anything to say about the books that you have published and you're going to publish?
Um, yeah, it People are fascinating when you take the time to actually listen to their stories. Uh, we are so quick to judge and so quick to label people in different categories of whether or not we have time or interest for them. But if we actually took the time to listen to what somebody has been through, we'll find that we are a whole lot more alike than we are different. And I think that's when understanding can really begin to happen in our world and bring about a sense of conversation and a sense of what unites us rather than what divides us. And I think that's what I would say.
So your books are on Amazon?
They're on Amazon, they're on Barnes and Nobles. And then you can also order them from bookstores. But yeah, they're Amazon's the big one.
So I'll put, if you send me your links, I'll put in the description of this video. People who find our video on YouTube can go through the link and can get the book.
Thank you, Sai. I really appreciate that. What type
Yeah,
of stories do you like to read?
real stories,
Which ones?
real, anything which is real, and any
Okay.
person who explains even the fictional stories like a real story.
I think you might like Iceman Awakens, Sai.
I
It's a
will
real
read it.
story about real people.
I will read it because you spent a lot of time. I can definitely understand that your words are going to create impact.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what we aim for. It's
Yeah,
definitely what we aim for, and it's a way to bring people around the world together. So I hope you do, and please let me know if you like it.
definitely. I'll put a review. I'll write a review. I'll tell my feeling about it. And also, people who reads it, I want you people to give a rating and tell your opinions about the story that you wrote. I mean, she wrote.
Thank you, Sai. I appreciate you taking the time with me today.
So, at last, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
I have seen only the clips on Instagram because yesterday was pretty crazy. I didn't have a chance to go to YouTube, but I did see that you are on YouTube, so that's really cool.
So,
How
actually,
long
I
have
make, yeah,
how long have you been doing this?
since 1 year.
How long?
Since 1 year.
1 year. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations. Why did you start? How did you get interested in reaching out to people around the world and saying, "Tell me your story"?
I'm an IT guy. Actually, I did masters in software engineering, and I do that. That is my. I'm going to do. I'm going to work as an IT director in that field. But I thought I wanted to do something like helping people or trying to know their stories and trying to tell their work to the world. So I have some following on social media. So I thought, why can't I do something for somebody? So that will help them at the same time. That will help me in learning something that I don't know. I will know something that I feel that anybody who is creating something that I can't create are gods for me. So,
Yeah, Sai, that is an awesome attitude. It really is.
so I did more than 450 interviews from all professions, from almost 80 to 90 country people. So if you have a free time, I'm sure you're like, if you have time, you're a very busy person, but when you have time, I have podcast too. This will be on my podcast also, interview. So when
Thank
you
you.
have them, you can listen and you can hear. So what do you say as a writer, as a communicator, as a person who spends a lot of time in observing and trying to explain it very clearly? What do you say about my work, me talking with different country people and who are into different professions and observing what they are doing and what they do and telling to my audience? So what do you say about this observation?
Sai, I think it is phenomenal. I really do. You are giving a chance to show individuals to other people who are sitting down and actually listening to them. And that's what my whole story is about, that we need to listen to each other so much more. So thank you for making the world a smaller place. I think it's great. And you're doing a wonderful job. Whatever was a hobby is now becoming something that is a passion and keep going. That's wonderful. You're doing a really great job.
So I want you to keep doing what you love, and I'm sure in coming days there are a lot of books are going to come from you, and they are going to create impact on a lot of brains and make change in the world.
Thank you, Sai. We can only hope. If you do your part on your side and I do my part on my side, maybe we'll fix this place.
So can I put this video and audio clip on my YouTube channel, social media, internet, podcast, everywhere with your permission?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much again for giving me your valuable time, and thank you.
Yeah, have a great day. Please make sure you tag me on Instagram so that way I can find you, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thanks, Sai. You have a good night over there.
Yeah. Good night. Good morning for you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.